What's up, guys? Today we're going to be putting on our tribar eliminator kit or plugin. So it's the part from Custom Dynamics. My first piece of equipment from them, but anywho, basically what we're doing is we are removing the tribar off of the motorcycle. For that being said, let me show you what the tribar is. So we're going to be removing this part right here. The fillers in the bags plus this are all the tribar. The setup basically is you need this plug for the inside when you disconnect the tribar, because the tribar, the lights run through your blinkers and your brakes through here. So if you don't have that connector, basically your lights don't work in the back. So it's like a 30, I think it was 32 bucks part that you get. It's literally just this plug here, input and output, that you connect the plugs where the old tribar used to be, and then you'll have access to your brakes still. The plan is going to be we will remove the tribar, and then I'm going to cut the side cover panels off of the tribar so that I can use the filler still. I'm wanting, since I have standard bags, to be level all the way through, so there isn't this kind of mullet in the back. And it's just preference for style. It's not anything in particular for performance. I'm not trying to wheelie things. I'm not trying to do anything like that. But I just like the idea of having clean lines straight across. And that's why I'm going to try and cover or cut these so I can keep the fillers and keep the blue all in the back. I know that Custom Dynamics makes lights that you can fit into the bags and remove these too. But for now, I figured the cheapest option to start off with a different look for the bike is a $30 plug. So with that being said, and this plug, let's get to it and see how it'll look. All right, so to start off, we gotta take the bags off. Boom. Now that we got the bags off, I'll show you what we have to take off to start off with. So there's gonna be bolts that we gotta take off down here. There's 3 on each side. And then once we do that, there's also, get down here. Just the wrong way to get down there and look at this bolt. Oh, I'm so athletic. Anyways, so there's gonna be also that bolt in there. This is where you keep the housing for that switch that we're gonna replace, because this is your light, all right here. So essentially we have to take off that bolt, and then there's gonna be 2 more, I believe. It's just these ones here on the back, and those are Torx with a bolt on the back that we'll take off once we have the rest of the bolts off. To start off, the 3 on both sides, 3 sets of bolts or nuts, 3 sets of nuts. Left side's a lot easier without having the pipe in the way. But now, I know I have the one left underneath there that I gotta get. So let's grab that one, and then we'll work on the torque bolts. So you see how there's this metal, there's this metal bar up here. So that comes in up here to the inside where this torque is. With this nut, once we take that off, everything should pop off. So let's give it a shot. So that took longer than it should have. It's a simple fix. What I needed to do is on the back side where your antenna is for your radio, or your radio antenna. First of all, the hooks on the, let me just grab you and show you. No, you're good. So on this side, so this is the radio side where your antenna goes through, like such. Make sure, one, that your antenna is disconnected and all the way out. So you're pulling, it's just not gonna go through. Also, most of these, I was looking at, these right here, there's little clips that goes with the bolt, but the top one is not. So this one on the right side was off the bolt, so I could pull it. This left one was not. So I kept pulling, I was like, what am I stuck on? And once you loosen that bolt, there's the metal cover underneath. There's a metal cover under there, but you should be able to slide it off. It's gonna be like some wiggling room, but it should come off like this. And then the other piece that'll come off is this, and this is underneath. So just for visual representation, it's essentially almost kind of like this on the inside of your fender. So when you take that bolt off from here, first take this off, and then you should be able to wiggle this off once the torque bolts on bilateral sides underneath here essentially are off. You'll be able to wiggle this off free. And then where the plugs are, there's a little hook where you can basically, where essentially the hole for this used to be, you can kind of wrap it around there, and that's what I'm planning on doing. But first, let's check the lights when we plug it in. There's an input output, so we'll make sure we got the plugs in right, and we'll check our flashers and our blinkers and make sure everything's working first. But it's off. Took way longer than it should have. Always does. Never fails. So this is what it looks like now. So you have the plugs that are underneath here that we're gonna connect up. That's literally what the thing from Custom Dynamics is. It's just a plug so that your blinkers will work. But yeah, now no mullet for the bike. But this is where the torque bolts are for this thing underneath this. So it's like, that's not how it's like. It's like that underneath here, where you're underneath your fender part. So once you get the, I'm gonna call it the mullet off, then you can take this off once these bolts are out, and just shimmy down and it'll come out. So let's check these, and we'll plug them in, and we'll throw our hazards on, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, let's see if this all works. Looks good so far. As I blind my wife. Do the hazard trick. Looks like it works. Brakes. Front and pedal. And now we have working lights. So obviously we're not going to keep this down here. We got to clean that up. Some zip ties should do that just fine. Once this is all cleaned up underneath, I'm going to be cutting these to put these back in place on the side panels. So I figured I'd just show you what it looks like underneath here now. So now there's that bolt that was holding this metal rack on. So that bolt's still there. So I'm going to keep it there because it's got the little holder for the tape already. Look at that. You even have color matching zip ties. Essential for every performance build. Can't do it without them. So I left the zip tie on the right one and put it just a little loose so I can have some play with this cord that goes around. But this is all tucked away so it won't be seen from the back. Let me show you what that looks like. So yeah, this is kind of where we are at now. It's all cleared up on the bottom. All right, okay, well, help myself had to check and see what it looked like. I really like the look of that though. It's a lot cleaner. So now we'll have the side covers in there, and it should match in just about right. Plus you get to see a little bit more of that back tire, which is kind of nice. Let's get to cutting the next part. All right, so just a little bit of masking tape just to kind of get the plastic ready for cutting. We're gonna mark it up, and we're gonna use a little drill bit tool that I got, or handheld rotary tool, to cut just down here on the sides, and that way I can hopefully get it nice and flush when we're doing this cut. All right, kind of got our line up. Let's see how this turns out. All right, so I got one cut. I'm probably gonna shave off a little bit, but I mean the best test would be just like looking to see how it looks. That looks pretty decent. All right, and here's both of them cut. I have a little more excess on the left side than I do the right. So I'm gonna try and, let's see if I get this flush. Should be about right there. If I can get this cut down a little bit more, I think it'll look just about right. All right, that was the final cut. I'm happy with that. Looks clean on both sides. I think it turned out pretty good. Well, now I gotta actually bolt them back on, so let's do that. And then we'll call it the final result. But it looks solid. I'm pretty happy with it. All right, so we got our bolts. So we're just gonna throw those back in there and we're all done. Put the bags on. All right, one last view without the bags on. And voila, there it is. Good amount of work, but I'm very honestly happy with the way it turned out. And I didn't mess it up too bad. So let's get that out of there. I'm very happy with that. Just looks a little cleaner. The back being just kind of flat, so I am super stoked on the look of this. Turned out pretty good. Not too shabby. So there it is. All right, that wasn't too bad. I thought it was gonna be a lot worse. I'd say tips for this is if you're cutting the side panels when you're putting it on, cut less and then cut more later. You can always grind them down a little bit more to get them more even. And I honestly just eyeballed it. The masking tape's a good idea because I did slip once and like hit the paint on the panel. So if you want to try and keep your paint as good as possible, that's a good precaution. And other than that, that was fun. That was the first time I've cut anything on this bike. It's just slightly nerve-wracking, but it's the look I wanted to do, so it worked out. Other than that, I'm super stoked how it turned out. So, anywho, thank you guys for watching if you guys have made it this far. Hope this is somewhat helpful if you're trying to do something similar on your bike. And other than that, hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you're riding safe and having fun. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. So thanks for watching.